Here we go. Facebook friends, let's talk about self-motivation. I didn't want to be here today. I didn't want to do this live. There are so many things in our life that we don't want to do. Can we be real about that? Can we be real about that internal conflict that every human being wrestles with? The part of you that's willing and the part of you that is totally unwilling. That's what we're here to explore today as we look at self-motivation. Let me pull up my notes and let's get this party started. So clearly, the carrot or the stick, are those my only two options when I don't want to? Sneaks up. We've all heard of the carrot or the stick analogy. We'll explore that a little more in depth so that it makes sense to you and how it isn't the best strategy. And we'll look at some other strategies that are a little less known that I find to be very effective at motivating myself. Sound like fun? Awesome. Let's dive right in. Okay. Welcome. Today, let's explore 3 fun and easy ways to access self-motivation on demand. That is the main benefit of learning to master yourself. The fundamentals of being human is exactly right here, so that you can have more of your resources on demand. I'm talking about your internal resources like organization, creativity, motivation, discipline, all of those very, very important. I would say much more important and much more valuable internal resources than all the external resources. The first place I look for to get the job done is here. And that is a worthwhile thing to start cultivating in your life. Start here. If this can't get the job done, don't be over dependent on things out here, because things out here can always go away. The money, the funding, the partner, the resources, external resources, attention, right? All that attention from people. You can see it with celebrities all the time. When they're on the top and they're just getting a constant flow of massive attention, they're just unstoppable. And then the moment that attention starts to wane is when you start to see a celebrity kind of like spiral down, because they're too dependent on an external source instead of an internal source. I'm generalizing. These are fundamentals designed to inspire you to look around and start to see these universal fundamentals that we all share, that cross barriers, that connect us all as human beings. We have more in common than not. Believe it or not. Okie dokie. What is this? Due to Facebook restrictions. Oh boy. Talk to your audience. I'm going to drop this down here. It should be already up there. What is this? I've done this before and it ended up being all weird. Please let me know if you see that in the comments, and if that helps you connect to where you can have your name show up on this live in the comments. That's the whole point. I'm using a third-party platform to stream through Facebook Live. There's so many moving parts, and this is a whole other problem we have in this world, in our society, in ourselves, which is a lack of cooperation. Everybody's too busy competing instead of cooperating. Just imagine if all these third-party platforms and Facebook did a little more cooperating instead of competing. We would have a much more tools and resources available to us that actually were integrated. Oh my God, what a concept. It's so frustrating when a company will willfully make their product not integrate with another product. Anyway, that's a whole little side note. 3 fun and easy ways to access self-motivation on demand. All right. give you my whole face. Like I mentioned, today we'll explore the art of self-motivation. It is an art form. We'll look at the familiar and the not so familiar strategies and how to make them work for you. Yes, I am reading off the screen so that I don't misread what I'm showing you at the bottom of my screen here. So that's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be exploring the art of self-motivation. How do I get myself to do something that myself doesn't want to do? Most people rely on the carrot or stick strategy. And we'll look at that here in a second. So you can see that it's really not the best strategy. It's still an external dependency instead of an internal one. Okie dokie. As always, thank you for being here. I so appreciate you taking the time to either be here live or to watch the replay. Do me a big favor and please like, follow, and share this video with others. Help me with my reach so that I can get this important message out to more people. We're all suffering on some level and we're all struggling on some level. If anybody right now is telling you that their life is amazing and perfect and ideal and everything's going the way they want it to and they don't have any problems, I say run far away from those people because they are completely delusional. All you have to do is look at the astrology that's going on right now, and we are all in the same boat. There is massive changes happening on a collective level right now as we finish up this whole Pluto in Capricorn retrograde nonsense that is making, well, again, it just feels personal, right? But that I'm experiencing it internally, what's happening externally. Not a point to be making here. All right, stay on track, stay focused, Keith. So please let me know if you happen to be here watching the replay by dropping a hashtag replay down below. That way I can follow up, make sure you got all your questions answered, introduce myself, start a conversation. That's the whole point of these lives, is for you to get to know me and see what it's like working with me in the process of adopting a present moment perspective in your life so that you can do things like motivate yourself on demand. I love those comments too. I didn't put it here down in the notes, but definitely let me know in some way, shape, or form if I happen to mention something that really resonates with you. If it is an aha moment for you, then do me the favor and drop like a hashtag found fun, which is the name of the found fun discovery method. And I'll look for that as an indicator to the video, because wherever you comment is gonna correlate to where in the video you were watching. So when you comment hashtag found fun at a place in the video that really impacted you, I will be able to know what that was and give you more of that. Make sense? I'm sure it does, and I'm tired of saying makes sense because I know what I'm doing. Of course it makes sense. Silly. All right, just a couple of housekeeping things, like obviously please engage and help the reach of this video, and that's kind of like paying it forward too. It comes back to you, I promise you. That is a whole other topic around karma and how like energy attracts like and cause and effect. I'll get into that someday, some other time. Okay. Like I said, thank you for being here and taking the time, devoting your attention in something meaningful in your life instead of all those distractions out there. There's a gazillion distractions right now that can keep you from being on purpose in your life and keep you from creating, which is really the whole point. That the most fundamental desire human beings have is as creators. If you have any religious beliefs or you've read the Bible before, it's right there in Genesis. He created us in his own image. And if he's a creator, we're creators. So it's time for us to get our creator going and start to fulfill our purpose in life. Because I guarantee you, you fulfilling your purpose in life is going to benefit all of humanity. Just imagine a whole world of people living their purpose, fulfilling their purpose. It would be a beautiful place. Right now, it's very centralized, right? We only have 3 or 4 agricultural multinational companies producing all the food we eat. Imagine if that was diversified back down into the family farmer where it needs to be. Because we are starting to realize monoculture is not the way to go. It has caused so many problems in our food system today regarding autoimmune disease. I could go on and on. Bioengineered food ingredients. No thanks, I'll pass. Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. As a thank you for investing your attention in something meaningful in your life, like being here, learning more about how we as humans operate, I am offering a complimentary firsthand experience of a present moment perspective. All you have to do is share this live video with one person and then drop down below #motivation as the alert to me that you shared the video. And I will send you a personal invite with my calendar link. We'll get it set up and we'll go from there. Super simple, super easy. Pick somebody in your life that you love, respect, and appreciate, and share this video with them. Ideally, there's somebody that is has a business of their own. They're an expert of their own, and they are challenged like you and I are with finding that motivation when we don't want to do things. I will talk a little bit more about self-motivation versus external motivation in a moment, but that is a big, important point of why I target experts, entrepreneurs, and business owners, because it's a different breed. You have basically 2 groups of humans on this planet. You have leaders and followers. Nothing wrong with either one. They're both necessary. They're both essential. What we have today, more than anything, is a whole bunch of followers and very few leaders. I'm targeting leaders. Leaders are people that blaze their own trail. They push the boundaries. They live on the cutting edge. And it's a very scary place to be because there is no safety out there on the edge. And that's why we end up having a whole bunch of followers, aka employees, that have, and again, nothing wrong with this, but understand who my target audience is. We have a whole bunch of followers out there that have resigned themselves to just getting a job, a job. Nothing wrong with that, but there is a decided advantage in working for somebody else versus working for yourself. Number one, you don't have to motivate yourself. That's probably the number one benefit I find in having a job, and I see it in other people too. It's just really, really easy to surrender to a schedule, surrender to a supervisor, surrender to a manager, surrender to SOPs, surrender to whatever. Then you're more like a cog in the machine. Unfortunately, that's the truth of the matter. You know, the rainmaker's at the top. The creativity comes from the top and it rains down to the cogs. They're the ones that basically implement the amazing strategies, the amazing master plans that large multinational corporations have. Okay, so point being, if you're here, it's most likely because you're ready to step into your greatness, harness the fundamentals of being human, and follow your bliss, as Joseph Campbell put it. Follow your bliss. What lights you up in life, right? Those are my ideal clients. They're mavericks. They're trailblazers in their life. And if that's you, then drop a hashtag. I see you, Tina. Hi, Tina. I'm so glad that you're here, and I'm so glad that I have confirmation that my comments are working in my live videos. Let's take a minute and see what you said here. That's it. Perfect. So there was there must have been a nugget or an aha that you just had around that time that I'll go back and take a look. Let's see what else you wrote here. It's just so fun to get to show other people's comments up here. We walk the unknown as a leader. Really got to be self-motivated and listen to your intuition. Absolutely. 100%. That is probably the clearest definition of a leader. It's a term that I haven't shared a lot here. It's called self-referral. I look to myself for the solution. I look to myself for the answer. Doesn't mean I don't invite lots and lots of feedback from my world out here. But at the end of the day, as a leader, I'm the one making the decision. I'm the one taking responsibility for that outcome. Awesome job, Tina. That's exactly what we're talking about today. So let's dive right in. Let's see, how do I do that? Boom. Okay. Yep, all you got to do is drop a hashtag motivation down below and share this video with one person to grab that free gift. Welcome to the Found Fun Discovery Method. That is the name of my umbrella organization, of which there are many little parts to it. Okay, who am I? I am this guy. I love showing this off. You can consider me your Morpheus if you've watched The Matrix, right? All I offer is the truth and nothing more. The truth is not always rosy. The truth is not always fun, but the truth is the truth. And that's what I'm here to deliver to humanity. I feel is my purpose is to enlighten people to waking up to the fundamentals of being human. When we start to focus on those few simple parts of life, everything flows. Therefore, you can say with confidence, I have found fun in my life because you're focused on those fundamentals. My name is Keith. I am a former personal private chef that has now decided to go all in with his true passion, which is, like I just shared with you, enlightening people to the fundamentals of being human. So I support diehard experts and entrepreneurs committed to the greater good to be even more effective at accomplishing their mission by introducing them to a present moment perspective so that they can effortlessly access superhuman focus, clarity, and well-being without getting distracted or discouraged by the familiar struggles, curveballs, or unexpected delays that haunt most unaware people's lives every day. I do this using firsthand experience and my proprietary new spotting technique as part of the Found Fun Discovery Method via a 5-day challenge that I'm working on right now, putting together, that's going to be really low entry to get into to have this experience. And it prepares people for my reorientation course that I'm still working on. I do this online, over the phone, via Zoom. Right now, it's mainly one-on-one because I want to really focus on those people that recognize the value of realizing, of self-realization, which is really all that we're talking about here. All right, let's jump in. Like I mentioned earlier, I love to hear about where you're from. And if you're here joining me, you never know who you're going to meet in the comments. So take a minute to go ahead and share with us where you're from, where you're watching from. And please be bold and share what your expertise is in. What is it that you're passionate about? What is it that you have experience with in life? Start to become more comfortable shouting out at the mountaintops wherever you go. That's how you're going to grow your business. That's how you're going to attract the right people into your space. Not by being quiet, by being loud. Yes, loud and passionate is the way to go when it comes to your purpose in life. I mean, if you're not going to be loud and passionate about your purpose for being here, then what are you going to be loud and passionate about? Your complaints, what's not working? There's a lot of that out there. Yes, you are, Tina. I'm Neo. Well, then follow the white rabbit, Tina, because we're going to free you from the matrix and everybody else at the same time. Thank you for leading the way in realizing your fullest potential. Okie dokie. Moving on. Like I mentioned earlier, when I don't want to creeps up, right? I don't want to. When that creeps up and neither the carrot nor the stick are working, what is a person to do? So let's talk about this real quick and put this to bed real quick. So carrot or a stick, right? This is the familiar analogy for most people when it comes to motivation. However, it might seem like it's self-motivation, but if we look a little closer, you'll realize it's external motivation. Because where is the stick? It's outside of you. Where is the carrot? Outside of you. So basically, when it comes to being motivated by a carrot or a stick, those are external factors that can always shift and change without informing you, at least of all, right? So a good example of a stick would be due dates. That's a definite stick, right? Whether it's a bill, a project, a goal, whatever it is that you want, right? We love to put the pressure on ourselves by setting these definite dates and around our goals, right? And what it is that we want to accomplish. Or if we have bills, which is the most evident one, right? I don't know about you, but I'm not very proactive in paying my bills. I'm very reactive in an interesting sort of way. So I usually wait until close to the due date before I pay my bills. What about you? Let me hear from you down below. Are you very goody two-shoes when it comes to your bills? Are you very proactive about paying those? Or do you wait for the stick to show up and it's like, that due date's right around the corner, get to work, make it happen, show up, right, et cetera, that stick, right? Or the stick might be in somebody else's hands. You might have, you might be married and maybe you make your spouse carry the stick, right? And then you play games like, oh, well, if I don't do this, then so-and-so is going to be upset. If I don't do this, so-and-so is going to, fire me. Again, external motivation, right? It's still out here. It's not in here. That's what we're going to explore a little more. So everyone's very familiar with the stick, right? Punitive, reactive, right? Don't break the speed limit or I'll give you a ticket. And that ticket's going to cost you money. Then you're going to have to work harder because your money just got wasted paying a dumb ticket. That's a form of the stick, right? You better do it or else, okay? The carrot, we're very familiar with the carrot, right? That's the temptation, right? That's the goody, yummy. I don't have something, right? There's your heart's desire. It's right there. Let me see if I can do this. So close. That's the carrot for you. Again, it will never, ever get you to that sweet spot of satisfaction and fulfillment because you're chasing it. You're running after that desire, which you are putting out here, right? So carrot's sort of motivation strategy might be, setting a wonderful future, like future casting, right? A visionary board. These are definite ways to motivate us with the carrot, right? Someday, when I make a bunch of money, when my business is thriving, then I'll give myself, name the carrot. a new house, a new car, take a vacation, etc., etc. Again, not in the present moment, not here now. It's always in the future. So you are probably most likely going to run out of steam, run out of fuel at some point in that journey. That is the downside of external motivation, is you never know what's going to happen out here. You do have command of what's going on in here, which very few people take the time to even become aware of. That is the whole practical value of self-awareness. What's going on in here, and what is the relationship between what's happening in here with what's happening out here? That is the important connection to make in your life. So yeah, whether you're running from the stick or you're chasing the carrot, neither one of those are a great strategy when it comes to self-motivation. So let's look at that. Let's look at some lesser known strategies that are great for motivating ourselves from the inside out versus from the outside in, or else you better do it. Okay. Let's explore. You like my cup? That's what sparked the whole format of my lives right there, as I saw this cup and I was like, that's perfect. You don't see a lot of cups like this, right? Let's explore. So let's explore. What are we exploring, right? Isn't that the question? And I should have this up there. Let's explore 3 fun and easy ways to access self-motivation on demand. Ready? All right, here we go. What? Oh, I see you. Let me see. What are you saying here? East Coast, Canada. Oh, yes. Nice to see you from the East Coast of Canada, where all those fires are. Can you stop lighting fires up there, please? I hear the whole place is burning. I don't know what the details are. Unity consciousness expert and animal psychology. I should introduce you to Vlad on Instagram. He's a dog trainer out in California. He's awesome. I'll connect you, Tina, when I get a chance. Okay, let's do this. Because this isn't just about, this is for everybody. I'll come back to that other comment, Tina, in a second here. All right, number 1. Where did my thing go? Let's see if we can keep that up there so we know what we're talking about, right? 3 fun and easy ways to access self-motivation. Number 1 is provide yourself with a purpose. Okay, you can go away, Leo. We're done with you. Number 1, provide yourself with a purpose. This is probably one of the least known strategies that I came across, believe it or not, and you might appreciate this, Tina. I'm a big fan of the dog whisperer, Cesar Millan. I don't care about all the controversy and conspiracy. From what I've saw, in the animal psychology that he applies, it's amazing because his tagline says it all. I train humans and rehabilitate dogs, because the dog is not the problem. It's 99.9% of the time, it's the owner that's the problem. So in that show, you really could see how Caesar was able to tap into a dog's purpose to create more balance in that dog. And that is the whole point of finding your purpose. Now, let's be clear. As human beings, we have free will. I can't prove this, but I'm just going to assume that the rest of creation doesn't have that added advantage that we as humans were given, right? So what do animals have? What does nature have? Well, it has instincts. And a lot of that is, their purpose is already built in, right? You're never going to come across an animal in nature unless he's in the city and affected by human neuroses. You'll never find an animal in nature that is challenged with understanding its purpose. That's a uniquely human condition. Like, why am I here? What's the purpose? In animals, it's kind of built in, right? They just know. And you can see this, right? You'll never see an animal like trying to struggle with what their next task is. They're just on doing their next task, right? They live on purpose. That's the point I'm getting to. So if you don't understand this concept of purpose in your life, study nature and you will see every tree, every flower, every animal, every rock, everything in nature serves a very specific purpose. So as human beings with that awesome free will that we have, it is up to us to define our own purpose here on earth. When you start to access that, you start to access that motivation that you see in nature, right? There's no struggle in nature. If there's struggle, it's not apparent. They're just doing what they got to do, whether it's cracking open a nut or whether it's hunting an animal or escaping from a predator, right? All of that stuff, it's all built in. That's why we love watching these nature shows, because it's just the unfoldment of the programming of nature. How would you like to effortlessly access that level of purpose in your life? Well, I'm here to tell you it's possible. Not only that, but it's unlimited. Believe it or not. Yeah. Now, we have propensities. That would be where you get into the concept of dharma. If you've ever heard of dharma, a lot of more people are familiar with karma. Kind of the flip side of karma is dharma. And the simplest definition of dharma is life purpose. It's why you're here. It's what you're meant to do here. And it's about accessing that. Now, I've spent a long time, too long, seeking my purpose, asking others, doing inquiries, mainly just waiting for an answer that never showed up. Can you relate to this dilemma in your life? I was looking outside of myself for my purpose. Well, is this it? Well, is that it? Maybe it's this. I don't know. This fan is on, probably loud. Turn that off for a second there. This video is just, I pray that it is clearer on your end than it is on my end. So, are we understanding purpose a little more? Let me see what's in the comments there. What do you get? How can we self-motivate without putting pressure? How can we self-motivate without putting pressure on myself? Sometimes I think I'm still 20 years old and can accomplish everything in my head. But then it's last minute before I do something too. Okay, great question, Tina. Let's dive into this. Well, first of all, let's look at this purpose thing, right? How is this related to that? How can we self-motivate without putting pressure on yourself? What kind of pressure are we talking about, Tina? That would be my first question, because there's two types of pressure. There are two types of stress in life when it comes to fundamentals of being human. There's obviously a empowering version and there's a limiting version, right? There is good stress and there's bad stress, to make it simple, okay? Good stress is what turns coal into a diamond. It's what turns lemons into lemonade. So when it comes to not putting pressure on yourself, I would invite you to start by looking at the relationship you have regarding that pressure. I know when I first started redefining myself and basically from scratch, redefining who I am as a human being instead of what I was handed growing up or given from my family or authorities outside of me. What I've come to discover is that redefining yourself is a matter of redefining your relationships with yourself. Bear with me. Everything is a relationship. The easy and evident go-to in a relationship is two human beings, right? In a relationship or a family or something like that. But there's also relationships. I have a relationship with the weather. It's the summer here in South Florida, and I'm telling you, it's called dog days for a reason, because it's hot and humid AF. And you don't want to go outside. You don't want to go to the beach. You just want to escape. You want to go up north where it's nice and cool and drier. And so what ends up happening there is the relationship I have with nature changes versus my relationship with nature in the winter. I love our weather in the winter. It's the best weather you could possibly have. But during the summer, not so good. That's just an example of one relationship that's not between two human beings, right? You have a relationship with money. You have a relationship with your purpose, everything else. So take a look at your relationship with putting pressure on yourself, because there is a good form of pressure that I would highly encourage you to take on. Getting ready to do this video was a lot of pressure on me, but I was clear on my purpose. Number one, what's the purpose of this video? What's the outcome? Makes that pressure a lot more bearable. And it's not the negative kind of pressure. A simple way to put that I'd say external pressure would be the not good kind of pressure, right? Like a boss telling you to do something or this or that. It's why we get jobs, because of a lack of self-motivation, right? We don't want to tell ourselves when to wake up. We don't want to tell ourselves when to go to work. We don't want to tell ourselves what to do, when to do it, how to do it. That's why we get jobs, so that pressure is minimal. Internal pressure. External, maximum, right? Because it doesn't seem like no matter what, it's never good enough. I'm trusting that I answered your question about that pressure and when it comes to self-motivation. As far as, look, sometimes I think I'm still 20 years old. Do you think you're 20 years old? Because the mind only deals with what's manifest. The mind only deals with the five senses and what it can see. So I'm pretty sure if you looked at your body in the mirror or you looked at your face or anything like that, your mind isn't going to think you're 20 years old. What might be happening is there might be a little confusion between the mind and the heart. Maybe you believe you're 20 years old. Maybe you feel like you're 20 years old in your heart. But externally, the evidence isn't there. Is that possible? Because if it is, maybe the reality is, at the core, we are immortal. Our spirit, our soul, the body, of course, this physical thing, is subject to natural law. So it's going to break down and entropy. However, I have the added benefit of meditation and maintaining my chi flow, right? That's the whole point. The energy that keeps this body alive, you've got to work on keeping that flowing optimally. Aside from doing fancy meditation practices or yoga or anything that might be pricey, the simplest thing you can do is just give yourself a moment out in nature. Take your shoes off, get grounded, feel the earth, feel the grass, and get lost in nature is a great way to recharge your batteries. And it doesn't require a lot of money. It does require you to set aside some time, but it's a worthwhile investment. And that's the simplest thing. So maybe you feel like you're 20 years at heart, but the external reality is not feeding that back. I can't get too deep into the conversation, Tina, or I'm not going to stay on track here. We're going to keep moving on with number 2, right? Provide yourself with a purpose. If I didn't finish what I was saying before about Caesar Milan and the dog whisperer, was what I really, really appreciated was he would come into a home, there would be an imbalanced dog, and one of the first things that he would do is he would discover what that dog's purpose was. So if it happened to be a hunting dog, then he would get it to do stuff that a hunting dog does, like fetch, or I don't know what they smell, they pointers, all that stuff. Or if it happened to be a pack dog, right? He would immediately get a pack with some weight, throw it on that dog's back, because they usually tend to be a little larger animals, kind of like a pack mule, right? They'd throw this pack on that dog, and instantly that imbalance that made him a nasty, mean, short-tempered dog, always snapping at people or barking or just very unstable. When the owner would leave the house, he would destroy the house. Well, now that dog is, boom, balanced, and the smile from end to end on his face, her face, right? This is the power of purpose, folks. When you discover that and you embody it and you commit yourself to it, it is the greatest feeling in the world. The other point I didn't mention out was I spent way too much time seeking my purpose out here, externally, instead of creating my purpose internally, right? That's a whole other live video that I can do on how we create our reality. But for the sake of time, let's just simply say that your purpose is self-defined. It is informed by your dharma. It is informed by your karma. It is informed by your desires. So get with yourself in a quiet place and explore. What is it that I enjoy in life? What lights me up? What inspiritus, right? The spirit is in them when they're inspired. So what inspires you? Or another great word, enthusiasm. Entheos. You are one with God when you're enthusiastic. So what makes you enthusiastic? What lights you up? Or like Joseph Campbell said, what is it that gives you bliss? Follow your bliss. Go after that. That is most likely aligned with your purpose. And it might change. It might evolve over time. So don't get too caught up in that. That's number 1. Find a purpose when it comes to self-motivation. Number 2 of the lesser known strategies for motivation, specifically self-motivation. Desire is fire. I love it. Feel your desire nature. It is not up here. This thing actually doesn't feel at all, believe it or not. There's no nerves. That's why they can do a brain surgery on people that are awake. No nerves up here to feel. So get down in this body and feel your desire, right? What time is it? It's 4:00. So we've got dinner coming up here. Well, at least on the East Coast, we got dinner coming up in a couple of hours. Can you feel your desire to have some dinner? Or you might be at work and the workday is winding down and you're about to leave and be free from all that external motivation. Feel your desire, right? It's that desire nature that gets squandered too often. I'll tell you who really benefits from our desire nature. You know who really benefits? Marketers, advertisers. They know human psychology like you wish you knew. They know the fundamentals of being human on a very manipulative level, right? NLP, these kind of things that dive into the fundamentals of being human for the purpose of taking advantage of somebody. But they know about desire. That's why when you watch freaking pharmaceutical ads, I am so over them, and they're everywhere now, and they're all the time. It's like most commercials now. But if you watch a pharmaceutical ad, look at what they put in their ads. Because like, really, how do you create desire for a stupid little pill? There's nothing exciting about it, right? So if you look at their advertisements, it's full of just the most over the top, right? Always pastel colors. They're always at the beach, or they're at a park, and it doesn't look like they ever work in their life. And it just looks like life is just magical and wonderful. All you have to do is take that little pill. That's what they're doing. They're tapping into your desire nature and using it against you to manipulate you into buying their product. So you're already getting manipulated. Your desires are already being manipulated against you. Why don't we take a little more personal responsibility in our life and take ownership for our desire nature and start to manipulate ourselves for the greater good, obviously, right? I know. Manipulation has a whole weird connotation on it, right? But there's alchemy is manipulation, right? Chiropractic. A chiropractor is manipulating your spine, right? So let's not have such a bad connotation on manipulate, but let's decide right here to take command of our desire nature and start to utilize that to create internal self-motivation, right? Just feel it. You start to salivate when you put your attention on the desire to eat something delicious. We're going to keep this G-rated, but there's other erogenous zones in the body that are very responsive to desire, if you know what I mean. That's an internal form of self-motivation, right? You might think that it's something external, right? Like a picture or a beautiful woman moving her body that motivated you, but it's an internal process, believe it or not. So let's take command of that desire nature and utilize it. So what I'd love to hear from you guys is down below. Why don't you drop, if you're willing, and let's keep it G-rated, why don't you drop a desire that you're aware of that you have? And see how innocent you can be about this. Stay out of your head and just feel. Desires live here. They don't live up here. They live here. Feel your heart's desires. And what is it? I tell you, more often than not, when you get present to your heart's desires, you will discover they happen to be quite simple in nature. Freedom, love, joy, prosperity. These are our heart's desires. Our heart does not desire to have a Ferrari. Our heart does not desire to have 1,000 followers on Instagram. Our heart does not desire to have the latest Mercedes model self-driving car with AI technology. No. That's how they use our desire nature to get us to buy their products. They tap into the simplicity of it, right? Like my favorite, and I'm going off here, I got to shorten this. My favorite is insurance companies. What's the one desire that all insurance companies are selling you day and night? Do, 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 do. Care to answer? I'll give you a minute. See? We're not alone. I'm not alone. Thank you for being honest about that, Tina. I believe most people end up doing that. It's kind of how we're raised and indoctrinated. We're raised and indoctrinated to have this external relationship instead of an internal relationship. So, absolutely. It's never too late, Tina. Now it's all about self-motivation, right? Awesome. Okay, desire. It's fire. Are you feeling your desire? Because that will get you through some really hairy moments in life, right? The simplest one among all of them, insurance, peace of mind, right? Oh, I have insurance. Now I don't have to worry about something going wrong in my life, right? Until I have to put the claim in. Insurance is always selling you peace of mind, right? Life insurance, death insurance. Oh, your family won't have to worry. I guarantee you, after this life, wherever you go, the last thing on your mind is what you left behind. I promise you. You're only moving forward because that's where your attention is, so to speak. What was I going to talk about? The desire. Insurance, desire. Just feel your desire. End of story. And notice that it's a sensation in the body and it has substance to it. That's when you know you're on the right track. When your desires have substance to them, it's almost like you can hold them in your hand. It's way more than a mental thought or a mental idea or a mental picture. It's got weight and substance to it because you're feeling it. So tap into that desire nature. All right, moving on. Number 3, the urgency of the present moment. This one hit me at the last minute, and I was like, yes, this is perfect, because it brings us back to really where the Found Fun Discovery Method starts, which is with a present moment perspective. That and personal responsibility. Those two components are required to begin this process. And so when we're talking about personal responsibility, that means being more of a creator in your life and taking more ownership for what's showing up as your creation. Whether you're aware of how you created it, why you created it, or what you created, just start with blanket ownership as much as you can. That's my creation. That's my creation. That will stop you from falling into the trap most people do, which is the victim trap, right? I didn't create that. They did that to me. They did that. They did that. He did that. She did that, right? That's the average person right there, right? No personal responsibility. So take personal responsibility and embrace, adopt a present moment perspective. Because when it comes to self-motivation, if you are operating from a present moment perspective, aka all that exists is now, there's no waiting. There's no anticipating. All there is now. So if you don't do it now, later, you're just going to have to do it now. And if you really wait a long time, like lots and lots of laters, then you'll end up just having to do it now. So the urgency of the present moment, basically, the fundamental to grasp when it comes to self-motivation is that when you are here now, operating from a present moment perspective, time goes out the window. So any delays that your monkey mind is coming up with, any smart excuses, oh, I can put that off. I can do that tomorrow. I'll do that next week. I'll do that next month. Oh, I don't have to do that right now. Anything you're putting off, it's pointless. Because time, if time is gone, then putting things off is gone. All you're doing is delaying now. So when you start to embrace a present moment perspective and see that there is no such thing as time, that any form of waiting for a future present moment is completely futile, because all you're waiting for is the next present moment. Give me some feedback on this, because this one's a little tricky. I want to see if you're getting the essence of how powerful this is. When I live and operate from a present moment perspective, all there is now. I'm just doing what I'm doing now. And after I get done with what I'm doing now, I'm going to do whatever I'm going to do in the next now present moment, in the next present moment. So procrastination doesn't happen anymore. I mean, it definitely becomes much more painful from a present moment perspective, because it's kind of like you're sitting at the bus stop waiting for the bus that's already pulled up. And you're like, where's the bus? I'm waiting for the bus. The bus is right in front of you. Just get on the bus and go, right? The urgency of the present moment. When all there is now, you're going to be effortlessly self-motivated to get your shit done, because the delusion of a future doesn't hinder you anymore. All right, I'm going to sneak over here and see what we're looking at. What did you say, Tina? The pressure, I believe, is when I use the carrot as my motivation. Yeah. Again, look, this is also an important point for everybody to get here, which is no two human beings are identical. The fundamentals are underneath our unique sense of self. But as an individual, each and every one of us is totally unique. So what might work for me might not work for you, and vice versa. You've got to find your own process. You got to find your own strategy, whatever works for you. Because when you're sharing this, Tina, to me it feels like, yeah, then I guess the pressure would be in the reaching for the carrot. And I don't know if I'm gonna ever get it. I don't know. Give me a little more clarity on that. You can always pick it up too in private, in messages too. But that's basically what I'm getting from that. It certainly is. There's a lot of pressure involved with the carrot and the stick. It's not my ideal. But again, we have to dive a little more into that relationship with pressure. Because before I adopted personal responsibility, before I experienced firsthand experience, before I had a firsthand experience of the power of personal responsibility, I had the worst relationship ever with responsibility. It was a bad word in my reality. There was nothing good about responsibility. It was something that was always thrust upon me as a child, as a young adult, as an adolescent. It always felt heavy, as if it was a burden. And yeah, simply put, the only reason I can now embrace personal responsibility with such enthusiasm and passion is because I've defined it for myself. And yeah, I love personal responsibility. I used to hate responsibility, and now I love it. Redefine that relationship if something's hindering you. All right, this is getting long, and we're an hour in, so let's wrap up here with a bonus. I always love to give my viewers a bonus, right? In case they just read the description and they only get the 3. Bonus time, right? And just in case, let's keep that up there, right? 3 fun and easy ways to access self-motivation on demand. Okay, bonus time number 4. Be your own boss. I don't need to expand on this anymore because I've already talked ad nauseum about the difference between a business owner and an employee. And even as an employee, listen, hear me clearly. Yes, you can't have a whole bunch of leaders and no followers. You can't have a whole bunch of business owners and no employees. That doesn't work. We're all meant to do what we're meant to do in this life. But chances are, if you and I have connected, it's because you have a greater destiny than the average person. So wherever you're at in life, if you're starting your own business, if you have a thriving business on your own, be your own boss. If you happen to be an employee, and it's also a lot of fun, be your own boss and watch your supervisor and manager not know what to do with themselves because you're showing up early. You're getting all your tasks done early. You're completing this and completing that and da-da-da-da-da. Blow them out of the water by being your own boss and getting yourself prepared for leaving the job world and actually pursuing a purpose that is unique, that can benefit us all. I would much rather you create something that you're passionate about than go work for somebody else and passionately create what they want. Make sense? But in the interim, wherever you're at, take on that viewpoint of being your own boss and just see how good it kind of feels, because that is the ultimate. I just read an email today about what the heck did he broke it into two categories: autonomous and basically he's talking about self-motivation versus external motivation, which happens to be more of a reactive state of being, right? Oh, the bill's late, I better pay it. Oh, the bill's coming due, I better pay it. Oh, I better do this or I'll be whatever, punitive stuff, right? I'll be fired, I'll be evicted, I'll be pulled over, I'll go to jail, I'll blah, 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 right? So that's your bonus. Be your own boss. Be your own law enforcement, right? When you're out there on the road, hold yourself accountable to being present, being smart, being safe, being deliberate, paying attention. It's the simplest thing to do in the world, yet we can't seem to not have a gazillion car accidents because we're doing other things besides driving a car, right? There is so much power to be had in personal responsibility, aka be your own boss. All right, moving on. Just a reminder, remember, share this live with one person and drop hashtag motivation down below to receive a personal invite from me with a calendar link to dive into a complimentary taste of a present moment perspective. And as a quick little review here, today we explored the art of self-motivation by contrasting the infamous carrot or stick, with some lesser known strategies like provide yourself with a purpose. Desire is fire. The urgency of the present moment, and a bonus of be your own boss. Catch me live. Let me get this stuff out of the way, or I'll keep it up there so you can have it. No, I'm going to put it out of the way. Make whoever comes in late watch the whole video to get the real goods. All right, put that away. Catch me live right here on my profile, my page, and my group, and on YouTube also. I'm working out the kinks always, so help me help you. If you're having a hard time finding my live videos or getting announcements or notifications, reach out to me, because you're going to help me a whole bunch in standardizing my system here, utilizing Facebook to reach the masses so that I can get the message out there and create more human beings that are personally responsible and operating from a present moment perspective. Every Thursday, right here, 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, weekly, my value video. Thank you for being here now. I so appreciate it. And super quickly, where is this at? Join the inner revolution and deepen your self-awareness. Join my mailing list so that we are forever connected and we don't get disconnected by something that happens on the internet, like social media decides to block me or block you or whatever. At this point in time, I do not trust. I haven't spent a lot of time on Twitter, but I hear it is the most free platform out there right now. But as far as Facebook and Instagram and Google and YouTube, these big tech companies go, they are centered up the yin yang. So I would definitely do yourself a favor to make sure we have a direct connection and not depend on Facebook to keep us connected. Don't depend on anything outside. If you got anything from this video, don't depend on anything outside of yourself to help yourself. Depend on yourself, right? And if you like and follow the page, you should get notifications too. Again, I am a constant work in progress. This stuff is, yeah, I'm gonna explore my relationship with technology because it's not the most empowering relationship right now. So let me throw it up there real quick so you have it. Boom, there it is. That's my, let me see if I can point to it. That's the mailing list right there. It's a super simple link. I'm trying out these live sales links on Be Live to see how good they work. So if you could do me a favor and just click that link at the bottom, I believe you see it right there. It says My Inner Circle Free. And let me know what you see on the other end. That should lead you to the landing page so you can sign up for my email list. I'm not doing a whole lot of automated emails like everybody else is right now. Mainly, the main goal is for you and I to get connected and stay connected. And eventually I'll be able to start putting together more exclusive material just for my emailing list. And you won't be able to find it here on social media. The other link farther over is if you don't want to play any more games and take the slow path to working with me, that is the first step. It is called a taste of a present moment perspective with what I call a map assessment. It is a $350 investment, but the greatest thing about it is, number one, it's risk-free. Within the first 15 minutes, I'm going to walk you through a firsthand experience of a present moment perspective. You're going to see where we live and operate from at the Found Fun Discovery method, and decide for yourself in that first 15 minutes if this is something you want to take on and hone and cultivate in your life. After that 15 minutes, we keep moving forward. We dive deeper into more of the fundamentals, and eventually we will do a map assessment, which is utilizing the power of a present moment perspective to gain specific clarity on you, on your purpose in life, on your passions in life, what's in the way of those, and basically by becoming aware of what's in the way, it starts to work its way out, leaving you a fun and easier path toward the fulfillment of your heart's desires. It is a process. I'm not going to lie to you. You already heard me talking about pharmaceutical ads. I do not prescribe to the way they do business. I think it's very, very corrupt, because basically they're promising you instant gratification. They're promising all sorts of things that they really have no power over at the end of the day. So don't be like a pharmaceutical ad and promise that you can do something for other people, knowing the truth is we can only do something for ourselves. That is the reality that humanity is waking up to. So if you want to dive right in, hit that link. It heads straight over to my checkout page, and we can book that right away and dive right in. Now let me see. How do I get these off? What does this do? Oh, it shows up in the screen there. I guess you can click it. Okay, so that's where it's showing up. I got it. That's what I was talking about right there. See, I see something down below the screen that I thought you were seeing, but you obviously don't. So when I flip over, you see that that diagram. That is the risk-free. Oh, also, just as a side note, right now I am building my reputation, my external reputation. So social proof is very important right now. Another bonus when you sign up for that taste of a present moment perspective that I'm offering is if you put together a 1-minute testimonial video of your firsthand experience of that process and send it over to me, I'll refund you $200 of the $350 right back into your pocket. Ideally, what's going to happen is you're going to be so blown away by that experience that you're going to want to move forward. And the awesome thing about that first step, because it is an investment. You're investing in yourself. That $350. I want you to really feel what that feels like to invest in yourself. So that first investment, you can actually carry that forward into step number 2, which is the reorientation process. There's only mainly 3 steps in my whole process. And then there's ongoing training with me one-on-one, which is the ideal. So those were new things that I wanted to try out. So thank you for bearing with me in playing with that. Let me hide that. And self-awareness. A lot of people don't grasp this. Your consciousness is like an iceberg. There's a little bit sticking up out of the surface. That's what we are aware of. Without doing any extra work, that's what we're aware of. Just the tippy top. That's where shallow people live. If you're not a shallow person and you really want this life to be something to remember, then you're going to want to cultivate self-awareness so that you can become aware of the mass of your consciousness under the surface. There's amazing things and terrifying things under the surface, but it's all power at the end of the day. Whether you're becoming aware of limitations and fears and transmuting those back into pure raw energy, or you're accessing your heart's desires. For most human beings, that it ends up being under the surface. It's not something that we can easily access from a conscious level. At least that was my experience. I don't know what your experience is. Maybe you popped out of the womb speaking your purpose. That would be awesome. And I spoke it now, so I'm the first one to say it. When we start to have babies popping out of wombs declaring their purpose, we will have an enlightened civilization. Okay. I don't think there's anything else I can keep you on here for, right? I shared this before, and I just really love it. Self-motivation is a matter of integrity. Getting what you desire and what you believe aligned. That's as simple as it gets. So keep that in mind. And last but not least, the fastest way to get to where you want to in life is with a guide who has been there before you. Have a wonderful Thursday afternoon. I look forward to answering all of your questions, following up, getting those messages, hearing about your ahas, and preparing for my next live weekly value video every Thursday, 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hasta la vista.